I did it. I switched from a gas-powered, fully capable John Deere riding tractor to a brand new zero-turn electric mower. If you're interested in how I got to this point, stay tuned. Before I get started, I'd like to give you a little background about our particular situation here to explain why I'm looking at new mowers. About 4 years ago, 2022, I believe, summer 2022, we moved into our new house, and this lot is 3/4 of an acre. Now, our previous house that we lived in for 16 plus years was in a smaller neighborhood, and it was perfect for a self-propelled walk-behind mower. And when we moved out here, I said, boy, that isn't going to cut it out here. I'll be mowing all day long. So at that point, I just started to look for possible used mowers that somebody might have rather than buying a new one. And I found a good friend who was at the point in his life where they were selling their large house and big lot and had a beautiful X485 mower. He purchased it back in October of 2003, but he kept that thing immaculate. Safety or service was taken care of every year, and the thing was in immaculate shape. So I bought it from him, and it was a perfect solution for our new lawn. Now, we started by seeding our 3/4 of an acre. And as you can imagine, as we started out, there was a bazillion weeds, a few rocks here and there, a lot of dirt clods that that mower made it through those bad days, I guess I should say, without any problems. Well, here we are. Now we fast forward to October of 2025. I've got 4 years into my yard, and it's matured real well, pardon me, and it looks like a great yard. It's still got its weak spots. There's a lot of ups and downs and bumpy spots around there that people don't notice, but I do. And as I started mowing this summer, I noticed that I'm wondering if this big 5-foot deck that was on the X485 was causing problems in mowing, because there's some up and down spots and the mower just cut in this 5-foot swath. And so I got some irregularities there. The other thing I started noticing was that as big as the lot was, it took me 30 to 40 passes up and down the yard, either perpendicular or horizontal to the street. And what that brought with it was turns at every end. And with a lawn tractor like the X485, you were stuck with doing the infamous Y turns, where you pull up to the end, turn, stop, back up, stop, turn again, and then go back down the row. And so you do that on either end of the mowing. And while I'm mowing, I don't think about it that much, but I got to thinking, seeing my neighbors with their zero-turn mowers, man, I bet you I could cut some time off by not having to go through all that effort at the end of 30 or 40 turns. So that just got me to thinking. And then we got into the question of the fact that the mower that I purchased was purchased brand new in October of 2003. So it was actually 22 years old. Now, like I said, the thing was in immaculate shape, and I had no concerns that that mower was going to die on me and it could be used for a long time to come. But being the guy I am, I'm thinking, maybe it's time to get a new mower. Not only to eliminate the fear of having problems with that mower, but maybe taking care of this problem with doing all these turns and taking longer to mow. And oh, by the way, the maintenance. As you can imagine, a 22-year-old tractor definitely requires maintenance. Annual changing the oil, changing the antifreeze, checking the hydraulic fluid, belts that are on there, pulleys that might be wearing out. All those kind of things are just starting to get to the point where maybe one day that's going to be a problem. Well, maybe I'm looking for excuses to get a new mower, but that was another one. And then, as I mentioned, I'm thinking that maybe I need to go to a smaller deck, maybe not 5 feet, but 4 feet. And maybe that'll help take care of some of the irregularities as I mow across the yard. So I kind of got to the point where I said, I think it's time for me to look into a new mower. So my first place I went was the John Deere website. And a little background there, I'm a retired John Deere engineer, worked on cab design for tractors for 33 years. And so I'm pretty loyal to the green and yellow. And so I went to their website and first looked up what a replacement for the X485 would be. And I got some sticker shock. A comparable mower today would be like $10,000. Now that tractor was a good tractor. It had hydraulics, it had a hitch on it. It had a lot of bells and whistles I didn't need, not to mention the 5-foot deck on it. So I kind of scratched that one off the list thinking, yeah, you know, I'm 72 and I may mow for another 6 to 10 years at the most. Why do I want to invest that kind of money? So then I turned to zero-turn mowers. A lot of people in our neighborhood have them, and man, they seem to whip through their yards pretty good. And I thought, you know, this would also solve my problem of increasing or reducing the amount of time it takes me to make all those turns when I'm mowing the yard. And the smaller deck would be better for giving me a better cut on the uneven yard I have instead of the big wide 5-foot deck. So I went through those, and they have a lot of options and variations there. And then I got to the end, and here, lo and behold, was an electric version of that. And I got to thinking, you know, I'm not a big electric car person. Is that a right decision to make? We like to take trips that are long distance, and it just didn't fit in my mind that getting a car that you had to stop every 270 miles to recharge was the right thing. And I suspected mowers would be the same way. But I looked at their specs, and they said one of these mowers could mow up to 2 acres on a single charge. And I thought, well, okay, now that's something I can handle because we only have 3/4 of an acre. So an electric mower would do the job. Now, we get to looking at the electric mowers. The next question is price. And I thought, okay, they got to be expensive. Well, as I mentioned, that big mower was 10 grand. Looking at this Z370R with a 48-inch deck, which is a little bit larger than the normal one they have, delivered to my house with the special they have here in October of 2025, was around 7,000 bucks. Well, that's a little expensive, but it's in my price range. And then I got to thinking, well, maybe I can get 3,000 bucks for my trade-in, or not trade-in, but selling my old mower. So I'm only talking $4,000 to get into a brand new zero-turn mower and then electric one, which now means no gas. I don't have to go to the gas station every other week to fill up a 5-gallon, 50-pound gallon of gas or container of gas. I don't have to worry about maintaining the engine, changing oils, antifreeze. I don't have any belts to worry about anymore since they're all electric motors. And basically just sharpening the blades, keeping it clean, and keeping it charged, and that's it. So at that point, I pretty much had made up my mind. I'm gonna get myself a new zero-turn mower and make it electric. So my next step was to talk to my local John Deere dealer, and in our area here in Waterloo, Iowa, it was P&K Midwest, and talked to one person that got me in touch with a salesman out there, Rob, and I said, can you get me one? He said, well, we don't have any in stock. Let me check. Now, I remember this is October, and he came back and told me, well, it looks like it'll be the first week in November. Well, I was kind of disappointed, but I was getting ready to prepare for my son's wedding, and so we were going to be busy for a while. And as we were pulling out of the driveway to head off to the town where the wedding was going to be, he texted me and said, your mower is in. Now, this is like 2 weeks after I had contacted him, and I thought, holy smokes, this is great. I'll actually be able to use it this fall. And I told him I'll be out of town for the weekend, but when I get back, I'd definitely like to get the mower. And we got the mower, the plan, the purchase taken care of, and lo and behold, Monday afternoon, I think it was the 13th of October, in pulls the P&K Midwest delivery vehicle with my brand new Z370R on top of it. And after a great conversation with the delivery guy and got the thing unloaded, I'm sitting there staring at my new mower, and now I'm at the point I got to figure out how to use this thing. So at this point, I'd like to take you on a quick walk around to the mower just to let you know what I've got here from an operator's perspective, and then we'll go do a little driving in the yard, and then I'll come back and share with you my thoughts on it. All right, Here's my John Deere Z370R Electric zero-turn mower. And I'm going to walk around real quickly and point out some things here, including the controls. But first, look at the deck. And I'm not sure how easy this is to see, but each blade has got a separate electric mower on it, those silver or circular housings there. And so you don't have to worry about belts or pulleys. Then you can also see that right here there's a place to connect a garden hose, which you can spray water underneath the deck while it's running and help try to clean it out a little bit on the underside. Coming around here, another thing I think is cool, and I'll see if I can do this without keeping the camera up. You can raise this deck up and even take it off, so now you can get at the top of the mower deck, which on my old mower was practically impossible. And now I can blow out things, clean it off, and keep that side of the mower even cleaner. Now, they're not easy to see, but right here on either side are LED lights that face forward. And then if you come around to the side there, they also have an LED light on each side that faces downward. So if you're mowing at twilight, it gives you a little more extra light. Okay, so here's on this side, there's a drink holder. There's also foldable armrests on the seat. And the seat is also adjustable. If you pick it up, there's some adjustments that you can do on the bottom of it. You see the springs down there. And then there's some adjustments that you can make that raise this up higher, farther down in where the seat hinges, that you can raise and adjust the height. Moving around to the back here, probably the only thing of significance is this is the point where you charge the battery, and that is a standard 3-point plug. And so if you've got extension cords with that kind of end on it, you can plug that in and it'll charge your mower up. And the battery and the charging device is underneath this cover here. Take some screws out and you can get at that. No need to really, but if you ever do, that's where you do it. And I didn't mention it earlier, but I do have a wagon that I pull around my yard, pulling things like throwing landscaping blocks, manure, mulch, just dirt, anything you think of that I don't want to drag around with a gorilla cart by hand. I can just pin it onto the back of this, just like I did my X485, and pull it around the yard. Also on the back here is this little toggle switch, and I'm not sure how easy it is to see, but it's basically a mower with a guy pushing it. And by pushing this button, it will allow the wheels to disengage from the drive system. So if the mower, for example, ran out of charge and you needed to push it onto a trailer, or you just needed to push it around in the garage, you would push that without having to turn the power on and allow you to do that. We'll get to the controls here in a second, but they're all located on the right-hand side there. One thing I should mention, if you look down at the front of the tray where your feet go, you see a little display there. When the mower is running, that also displays the amount of battery life you have left in percentages. So you can look on the right-hand console, but you can also see it down there on the bottom of the footrest. Okay, as we come back around here, you can see the chute for the mower clippings that come out. And then there's this pedal here. So what the heck's that for? Well, first off, to adjust the deck height with the controls that we'll talk about in a little bit, you have to depress that. But it's also good for when you're maybe climbing a ramp to get into a trailer or something like that. If you press that down, it raises the deck up and gives it maximum clearance underneath the mower as you're moving the mower up the ramp. So that's basically the outside here. I'm going to climb in and then we'll take a look at the controls. All right, I'm going to show you the controls on the right-hand console. Pretty simple once you understand what they are. So we'll go through them real quickly. First, we'll start up here. This is the light switch to power on and off the lights that I pointed out on the front of the mower. Next to it is the power button. And for that to work, you have to have this key engaged. And I'm going to pull that out, let you see that. This is the John Deere key circa 2025. for probably 50 years, there was one key style that they used on all John Deere products, and they all worked in all the products. So it's nice to see something different. This is pretty minimal, and essentially you just push it down into the start button till it engages, and that will allow the power to get to the start switch. We'll do that in a second. Here's the mode button, and if you look over here on the display, get my arm over here, there's a turtle mode, a rabbit mode, and a bagger mode. Turtle mode will run up to 5 miles an hour, rabbit mode will go up to 7 miles an hour, and bagger mode basically speeds up the mowers to help blow the grass through the mowing, the bagging system, so it doesn't get things clogged up. If you look down here, this is the adjustment for the mower deck height. And if you remember, I talked about this pedal here. Let's see if I can do this. If you look down here and watch the deck raise as I press that up, when you raise that up, not only is it giving you more clearance, but you need that up so you can adjust this knob here. And you can see it goes up to 4.5, and then it circles around to 1 1/4. So you've got 1 1/4 inches up to 4.5 inches you can adjust your mower. I typically run mine at about 3 1/4. And so I'll leave it there, and then I come back here and watch the deck go down, and now it's at 3 1/4 inches for mowing. And then this button here is a PTO switch, but that's essentially the on-off switch for the mower blades to start up. You pull it up to start, as you can see here, and you push it down to go to off. So that's it, pretty basic. I'll go through, I'm going to fire this thing up so you can see the display. And to start it, you press this and hold it down until you hear 2 beeps. And you can see everything fire up there. First off, you can see the brake is on, and when these arms are outward, let's see if we can show that, that automatically puts the vehicle in park mode. This number means the percent of the battery that's left, and this is kind of a graphic of that power availability. Over to the left, you can see a black dot next to the turtle. So if I come over here and press the mode button again, it goes up to rabbit, then to the bagger mode, and then back down to turtle. And that's really all the controls that are there. Now on the right, there's an hour meter mark here that will show up in this lower corner. Right above it, I suspect let's see if I can reach around to do it. If I press that push mode, and I don't have it turned on, so maybe it's not working, but I would imagine that's going to light up or show when you're moving it that's in push mode. It appears that there's a temperature mark or warning that will pop up if your batteries or something's getting too hot. It will show up next to that one. And then finally, same thing, if your battery's in a bad shape for whatever reason, whether it's low or there's problems with it, there'll be some kind of exclamation point that will show up there. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to set the camera up, and I'm going to show you how to move and control the mower here in my garage. All right, we're going to start this thing up and do a basics on how to control it. And I'm going to start from square one. And when you get on the mower, these need to be out to the side for having the parking brake on. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold the power button down for 2 seconds to start it up. And there you go, it's on. I see the display down below. I see the display on the right-hand side, and we're ready to go. So the first thing you want to do is when you're ready, obviously you look around, make sure nobody's around you. You bring these 2 arms in to that upright position here. And how this works is when you push these levers forward, you go forward. When you pull these levers back, you go back. And if you push one lever at a time, you push this one forward, it turns this wheel, which will now make you turn like this. Turn, in my case, going to my left. Similarly, if I push this one forward, the left drive wheel will push me and turn me to the right. And if I do the same thing backwards, pull this one back, it will make the right wheel move backwards, which would mean I'd start turning around, pointing that way. So it's easier to demonstrate, and we'll do that here. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to push these forward, and you can see what happens when I push them both at the same time. I came forward, Now I'm going to pull them back. And now I want to turn this way so I can push this one forward. And I want to go back. I can pull it backwards. Now I've learned that because of these big wheels down here, it flips those wheels around as you're trying to change direction. So you might get a funny movement to start with, and that's part of the learning curve. You can also move these at the same time to give you a sharper turn. So if I push this one forward, pull this one back, it's a pivot move, and I'll try that here. Do it the other way. So you can see when I talked about having to turn at the end of the row, you can basically, if I demonstrate this here, so I'm at the end of the row and I want to turn real quick. And then I go back. So you can move real quick. It takes a little bit of getting used to. I've probably only been on this 15 minutes, but I used to use them maybe 10 years ago. And it's kind of like riding a bike. Once you do it, you'll get used to how you need to move the levers, and it'll just feel like second nature to you. Now, the other thing I want to point out is the sound level. You notice that's all the sound it makes to move. Rather than having an engine running all the time while you're mowing my lawn tractor, there's no noise. And I'm going to start it up now so you hear what the mower blades sound like. Now, granted, this is in a garage, so a little bit different, but the mower sound, the blade sound is less than what it was on my old deck. So here we go. I'll fire it up and let you hear what happens. I don't think that's a good example in here, but that's what the sound is. And if I had the other mower in here, you would hear an engine running of the tractor and the mower blades, and it would be higher if I had a decibel meter. So that's all it takes to operate the tractor. Now what I want to do is I'm going to try to figure out a way to set up my camera outside and run it up and down the yard a couple times, so not only can you see me doing the turns, but you can also hear what the mower sounds like mowing outside. I moved to my backyard now, and I thought I'd run a couple strips up and down the yard just to show you how this mower works. A couple things to pay attention to is just the sound level. Hopefully this microphone that I have on the tripod with the camera will be enough to let you pick up what's happening as the mower goes by in terms of the sound that a bystander or neighbor or somebody in your house might hear as I'm out mowing. And then you can compare it to what it would be like with a lawn tractor that also has a gas engine running at full throttle, and then all the noises associated with the belts and pulleys to run the blades there. And then also pay attention to the turns at the end of the rows if you can, just to show you how slick this zero turn is when mowing the lawn. So if you're ready to get going, let's get started here. impressions. I've been on this mower maybe 20 minutes. This is the first actual grass I've cut, and I'm going to say, wow, this is a game changer. It's brought some fun back into mowing, first of all, but secondly, normally I wear hearing protection because of how loud my lawn tractor was, and I still will, but it's just amazing how quiet this is compared to having that tractor with the engine and the blades going and the belts running and all that. It's definitely a lot quieter, and I know the neighbors will probably appreciate that as well. Secondly, the zero turn at the end of the rows is such a game changer. I don't know why I didn't do this sooner. It just makes it so much simpler to turn around and get lined up and go back without doing the typical wide turn, which takes a lot of time, especially as you see, probably doing 30 or 40 times when I do this front and backyard. And finally, just going up and down the yard. Granted, I still have a lot of bumps and I'm going to have to get used to that, but I can tell already that I'll be able to mow faster with this than my X485 lawn tractor. It could go fast, but with that 5-foot deck, it just was too uneven and bumpy for me to actually cut it at higher speed. So I know this is going to be a game changer. And as I said, I'm excited now again about mowing the lawn. And candidly, I hope we don't have to quit mowing here in Iowa until maybe late November, so I can use this some more before the end of the season. All right, so it's time for me to take this thing and put it back in the garage. So there you have it, my experience in going from my old John Deere X485 lawn tractor to this brand new John Deere Z370R zero-turn electric mower. It's a great mower. I'm just so happy that I decided to go with it. Not only has it made mowing fun again, but it also has improved the cut of our yard. It even takes a little bit less time than it used to. And the maintenance on the thing is basically keeping the blade sharpened, keeping it charged, keeping it clean, and keeping the air pressure in the tires. No more lugging gas from the gas station every couple weeks. It's just going to be a perfect solution for our family. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give me a thumbs up. And by all means, if you got any questions or got some comments about your experiences with e-mowers, by all means, put them in the comments section. I try to get back to every message that I get. So until the next time, stay tuned.